I hope you found the videos helpful for the at-home retreat, and I hope you found the kind of retreat in some sense spiritually helpful. Um, from going from here, kind of two main things. First, it's even at the end of your kind of, if you do the whole kind of all of the sessions and such, just take a little bit of time, even 5 minutes, just looking, kind of reviewing and thanking the Lord for what's come up, and asking, what's okay, Lord, is there any areas where you want me to go back in prayer with you, or passages and such. And then I just encourage, if you're able to incorporate this mental prayer kind of time with the Lord each day, even if it's opening up, with scriptures in particular, encourage it, 15 or 20 minutes a day. That's about 1% of your day, the time. So, and part of the videos and stuff was I wanted to keep focused on, so that you could just be praying. You wouldn't be thinking about all these what's that mean or what's that. Obviously, there's always more we can learn, but when we go to prayer, we want to be focused just kind of on the dialogue with the Lord, and not get too caught up. It's not study, but in terms of study and such, it can be very helpful for that background. So for prayer, I encourage, if you're like, well, where do I go from here, Father? I mean, I've read that. I just want to, where should I start in the scriptures? Well, the Psalms are good to go to, and as well as the Gospels, really, even just to work through a gospel, taking the short passages, spending a day there, and then moving on to the next session, little section, and just kind of slowly praying through the gospel. And I would encourage, if you do that, also to be kind of maybe study the gospel, be ahead, kind of studying it as you're kind of praying through it more, kind of a slower pace, obviously. I'm making no commission off of this, all right, or anything. This is the Ignatian Catholic Study Bible, New Testament. This is all just the New Testament, but it has great notes and such. So if you're looking for a kind of a study, kind of a place to start, it's great. You could read it, a chapter. Let's say you're working through the Gospel of Matthew, read a chapter of Matthew, and then read the notes underneath it, and kind of like what are connected, and read the next chapter, read the notes. It can kind of, so that when you go to prayer, first when you go to prayer, then you have some background already. You aren't like looking and then kind of looking at notes and stuff. I don't use this one for when I pray. I use it for study. Otherwise, I can get distracted by all the notes and stuff. But in terms of having that background, kind of stocking the shelves, so that when you go to prayer, it can focus on with the Lord, spending time with Him, and not getting that mean, or what's that have to do with. There's not, some of that's okay, and when you're reading passage, and but that's not what you want prayer to turn into. It's not study. As well as just becoming more and more familiar. So part of just studying and reading the scriptures, especially like the Gospels, then you become aware of where things are. You know the general area of the Gospel, so that when you're like down, you're like, I remember, I sense maybe the sense of, I think I need to grow in trust. Like, okay, that was Jesus said that thing about trusting that God's going to provide. I mean, this is in Matthew chapter, somewhere like the Sermon on the Mount. So then you can go to the 5 through 7, and you can kind of find that passage. And fortunately, they have like the little headings where shining as lights in the world, or the Beatitudes. So you can find it quickly if you have a Bible, hopefully, that has those subheadings. They aren't in the original text, but they're there to help us find things. So that's one helpful thing of studying the scriptures. Then you become more aware, and when you get the sense like the Lord wants me to grow in this area, or talk about this, and there's a scripture passage I remember reading, and maybe that's where the Lord, maybe a launching pad. It's very much the scriptures is, we aren't in dialogue with a book. Okay, that's like, and it's not this book is living in itself. It's not like it's talking to you, the scriptures. No, but it's God's revealed truth, and it's through those revealed truths that God communicates to us. So this is but it's come in contact with the person who inspired these words, so that we could come to know these truths. So I encourage, just going from here, just kind of if you can integrate that into your daily life, uh, uh, more to you. There's been much more in the last 15, 20 years, especially, of more and more kind of what's Lectio Divina, praying with Scripture. And even sometimes it's praying with Scripture, like meditations and stuff, like praying with the praying as a pirate. Sometimes you're like, yeah, I just want to pray with the God, Lord, with this. And you don't have necessarily a particular Scripture passage, or maybe you do, but it's not like you want to just start talking with the Lord about that. But it can be good to have the Scriptures, just if because we can get distracted and stuff, just have something to go to, keep our focus. St. Teresa of Avila said she had a book with her for years at her side, and sometimes she didn't even open it during prayer, but she had it there. All right, so if her mind started wandering, open the book. And the same with the Scriptures. It's in particular, it's God's inspired word, and so just helps us keep us focused on the Lord in our prayer.